Howdy, folks. Welcome to an all-new So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Monday episode. We are doing a pop culture roundup with Sophie Ross. As always, use the timestamp to skip right to that. We're going to do a couple of news stories before that and tell you what is on this week for you guys to watch. How was your weekend? Was it good? Did you get everything done? Man, it has been a week since that daylight savings time fiasco. And I'm pissed, man. I got done with Sophie at like 5 p.m. and it was fully dark. And when it was sunlight, I could still walk at 5 and do my hike. And I had to like hike in the dark. Yeah, it was just like this man grunt. Like, you can imagine that. I'm like hiking around the neighborhood because it's dark. You just like a grown big man going, huh, 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 in the dark. Like, what if somebody comes upon me? That is so... just feels so bad for everybody. Anyways, I had a really busy but good weekend, you guys. I got my car back. I got the bumper back on my car. Thank you to Dave over at Eurobody in Tarzana for doing a rush job on this. It looks beautiful. I'm a brand new guy. I can't wait to see what I break on my car next. But for now, for this one moment in time, the car is magnificent. So thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it. I'm going to Vegas this week for BravoCon. I hope to see a lot of you there. Don't forget, sign up for me and Pink Shade, the podcast with Mary Payne Gilbert. We're doing a meetup on Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Hard Rock Cafe right before Amy Phillips's Cabaret Me show, which I highly recommend. But I hope to see a lot of you there. I'll be all around BravoCon. I'll be hosting a couple of things during the weekend, talking to Bravo celebrities for Bravo. When I know more about where you can watch that on Peacock, I will let you know. But I'm very, very excited. I have a meeting with Bravo today to go over more details. I couldn't be more excited. Listen. This is like Christmas for me, and if you're, but I'm going to take you. I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to share everything that I know. So you'll be going along with me on the ups and downs, and I'm sure I'll embarrass myself plenty of times, and I will share every single moment with you guys. Anyways, I'm glad you're here today. Also my Patreon subscribers, patreon.com/so bad it's good. Put out 2 fantastic episodes today. We finally made it to Real Housewives of New York Season 2, Episode 1. And it's really fascinating because since Season 1 aired in 2008. So this is like the next year in 2009. And already in the first episode, Jill's in trouble for shit-talking Alex and Simon in the New York Post with Cindy Adams. And she's like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Cindy called me and I said something. I think I was misquoted. I think I was. It is just fantastic television. It is so simple and yet so real and so inconsequential, but so funny. And I had such a blast recapping this episode. So that's over there on the Patreon. We also did another Patreon where I shared with you everything that I watched and listened to and read this weekend. And it was weirdly a lot. And so that's like the first 40 minutes of the episode. And then the last 30 minutes is at the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They have an after show. They don't air it on Peacock, but it's on YouTube. But I managed to go like 30 minutes over a 10-minute segment, but it's great. These ladies are fantastic. Oh my God. Guess who followed me over the weekend, you guys? Mary Cosby followed me on Instagram. And that's one of those, like, how long can this last? I'm checking it like every hour. I think she's going to unfollow me any day now. But for now, listen, there's certain goalposts you have in this career, and being followed by Mary Cosby, that was one of them. And I would not have thought I would be so excited. I wouldn't have been this excited about this years ago. I truly wouldn't have been. So, thank you, Mary Cosby, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you so much. We got a great week of episodes. I've stockpiled a lot of interviews that I've done over these last couple of weeks, even though we still will be putting out new episodes, like we're doing one today. I'll put out we'll be doing a Dancing with the Stars recap with my lady love, Rebecca. Very pregnant right now. She'll be coming back on for Wednesday's episode. But we got a great week of shows. So make sure you're subscribed because we put things out. I think I'll be able to do the Salt Lake recap this week, but I'm not sure because that one I don't get a screener of. And I'm thinking about emailing Bravo and just begging so I can get it done early. If not, I'll try to do it in Vegas But we'll still be putting out episodes. I won't be able to do the OC reunion part 2 recap until next week, but come on. What are you missing, really? Even though I had a lot of fun recapping the reunion part 1. We do a news story with Sophie today where Tamara posted that she got a death threat. And I just, listen, we're all passionate, right? But I just feel, come on, man, let's all touch grass. If you ever feel the need to threaten somebody physically or to tell them to harm themselves, that is so messed up from any angle that you want to look at it. Nothing is worth that. Nothing on your television, nothing in, nothing is worth, why would you ever do that, man? Like, we got to hold ourselves. We got to have a certain decorum. We should be able to argue with each other about these. And you can have the people that you don't like. You can have your favorites. You can have all of that. But to do that, it just makes us all look bad, right? And I can make us all look bad already. Why would we ever do that? And the person that did this, I think, lost their job because they threatened Tamara. But my God, I mean, I get it. I get angry at OC too, but I had never in a million years have ever thought it was like, I need somebody to harm themselves. Like, are you kidding me? That is so, man, you're like, so many people need help out in this world. Also, I'm not sure, but I think the government shutdown might be over today, which I think a lot of people were worried in the sense of BravoCon, but more importantly for the holidays, if flights were going to be able to make it home. My dad is coming here to Los Angeles for Thanksgiving, and he was already worried about his flight. So hopefully the flights are back on track, and that is one less worry that you will have to put up with. But yeah. Okay, let's get to some news. It's been a moment since I've mentioned anything regarding Love Island or Love Island USA, and I got to tell you, it feels pretty good to have a little bit of a break. But we got some news over the weekend that, they did that spinoff Love Island Beyond the Villa with the season 6 cast. Well, some of the season 6 cast. Well, it was announced over the weekend that Peacock has renewed Love Island Beyond the Villa for season 2, but they are not using the same cast. This time, the cameras will follow the Islanders from Love Island USA season 7, the most recent season, right? So cameras are going to follow the winners, Amaya and Brian, as they return to their lives. The press release says, but this time under a spotlight following the success of the dating reality series. The cast of the show also is going to include Grayson Blackmore, and Grayson was on this podcast after Love Island finished filming. You got Jeremiah Brown, you got Clark, you got Hannah, you got Pepe Garcia, Iris Kindle, TJ Palma, Adrina, Chris Seeley. I guess Chris still hasn't gotten back to playing overseas basketball. You got Bella or Bella. You got Coco Watson, and you got Taylor Williams. There are obviously some people that have not joined this cast. Obviously, Nick and Olandria, they are not a part of this cast. They are breakout superstars. So I found that interesting. You also don't have Ace Green, you don't have Shelley, you don't have Austin, and you don't have Huda. Huda gotten in so much trouble these last couple of weeks. So you don't have that. You don't have a lot of the favorites or the people that people are really fighting about and fighting with each other. They are not going to be in this. Now, BravoCon this weekend, Amaya, Jeremiah, and Iris will appear at BravoCon on Sunday, where fans will have the opportunity to meet them as part of the Bravoverse live stage panel, which will air live on Peacock. So a lot of these panels you'll be able to stream live on Peacock over the weekend. So Love Island Beyond the Villa, I have to tell you, I was not as interested in Beyond the Villa after the first couple of episodes, and I know it has its fan base, but that was one of those things after you spend so much time with the Islanders every day for season 7, I needed to decompress. And so I'm assuming Beyond the Villa season 2 will premiere right after Love Island USA season 8 airs next year. But to me, it was like overload. I couldn't do it. And also, this will be interesting in terms of the cast, who will be favorites, who will be breakout stars. And if this contributes to a more exhaustion with the format. Even though I do appreciate the format, them trying something different, and, these are real relationships at this point, and to see what that next step is. But also, I thought this cast, more than this cast before, was so concerned with their social media presence, which I think sometimes is the death of art in terms of reality TV. I don't find it interesting. I mean, listen, this season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which premieres this week, there is some fighting over like brand deal, and like it's entertaining to a sense. There's some Dancing with the Stars fighting going on, and I do think that actually is interesting, but you can see the realism in that after 3 seasons with these Secret Lives of Mormon Wives TikTok influencers. They're used to this kind of internet fame. So I found it more interesting, whereas I didn't find it nearly as interesting this past season of Love Island USA. But it's also not made for my age range anymore. Like I did watch every episode of Love Island USA, but at times it became tiring for me. I'm old. I can't do it, you guys. It's hard to watch this much TV. I found it exhausting to a degree. So we'll see. If they make just an excellent season of reality television, I will probably eat my words. But that was a huge announcement that we got over the weekend that I thought you would be excited about. Now, there were a couple stories I didn't get to talk to with Sophie, and I'm so pissed because I wanted to get her angry take. And one is that therapist, podcaster, and influencer Jake Shane, who Sophie and Snarkbait have done an episode on, there was an announcement that he is going to star in his own Hulu comedy project based on his own life. And Jake Shane is huge online, huge podcast. I personally think this dude is very funny. Now, this is from Hacks writer and high potential consulting producer Genevieve Aniello. She's going to be executive producing and writing the pilot, while Paul Briganotti, who worked on Saturday Night Live, will direct and executive produce. Now, the pilot is based on an original story by Jake Shane, Aniello, and Briganti. And so this is going to follow his life in a sense. And I like that kind of behind the scenes dark comedies, but you see that a lot. I think most recently I Love LA, which just had its second episode tonight on HBO Max with Rachel Sennett. Rachel isn't playing Rachel, but it's to do with influencers and this sort of lifestyle. And sometimes I think that's a nice place to visit. And by the way, I Love LA is only 2 episodes in, and I watched 1 episode. I enjoyed it. I haven't watched tonight's episode yet, but sometimes you're like, we can't do better than this. Like we can't, I do tend to go, God, I'm already complained 2 times in this podcast about Love Island and now this, but sometimes I want stories outside of influencer lifestyle, because I feel like all that does is just create more influencers, and I feel like I'm at my wit's end with dealing with influencers. But I think Jake Shane is very talented. Even though I think Sophie might disagree with me, I was very excited to hear about this because I personally find him very funny. And Jake Shane did he had a recurring part on this past season of Hacks, and I thought he was cute in that. So I'm excited to see what his TV show will be about. I just don't want more influencers pitching show about, okay, it's a story about an influencer that gets really popular and then has to deal with a new LA lifestyle while trying to, keep his old friends and family happy while kowtowing to a higher echelon crowd and meeting celebrities. I feel like that idea has been done to death. So I hope, and I think with Jake Shane, they will do something unique with this that will make it different than your normal influencer story. Okay, let's talk about what to watch this week, and I'll try to intersect that with some of the things that I watched over the weekend. And one of those things was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the induction ceremony, which aired live on Disney Plus on Saturday night, but you can still stream it. It's 4+ hours long. But my God, I really geeked out over some of the performances and some of the packages about the artists that were inducted. The artists that were inducted in this class for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was Bad Company, the rock band from the 70s and 80s, Chubby Checker, Cyndi Lauper. My God, Cyndi Lauper, what a legend. And Cyndi Lauper's performance was truly amazing. She's been on the road for the last year, so she is road tested. You had Joe Cocker, Outkast, and Outkast was amazing, and there was a great medley of their songs. Tyler, the Creator, knocked it out of the park on B.O.B. You had Soundgarden. Jim Carrey inducted Soundgarden, and obviously we've lost Chris Cornell a while ago, and the White Stripes were inducted. The White Stripes, it was so... I was reading more about them because I have every White Stripes album, and this is that phenomenon that I talk about where all of a sudden you'll be living life, and you'll lose 10 years of your life in the sense that you're like, wait a sec, how did that time pass? Because the White Stripes, I believe, stopped recording together. Not that there was any big breakup, but Jack White went solo. I think their last performance was 2008, 2009. And last I checked, we're in the year 2025. And so it's been 15, 16 years since they were together, and yet they still feel so timely. Like their music to me is still, I mean, Seven Nation Army, you hear at every major sporting event these days, which cracks me up because I don't know. I just always think Jack White must get a kick out of that. I only watch a handful of sporting events, and when I do, they're always like screaming Seven Nation Army. But they had so many amazing songs. I only got to see White Stripes once, and it was truly phenomenal. And I've seen Jack White a handful of times, and that guy, solo or with the White Stripes, is just so insanely talented. And Jack White gave a very beautiful, passionate speech that I loved. But yeah, White Stripes, I couldn't believe it had been that long. I was like, it feels like just yesterday. I hate that phenomenon of just losing 10 years, thinking like that was just yesterday. We also inducted Warren Zevon. And the reason why I have such a great appreciation for Warren Zevon is A, he's a great musical artist, and he died a long time ago. I have an appreciation for Warren Zevon because my dad had his albums growing up. And we always talk about that, about you're kind of at the mercy of your parents' musical taste when you grow up. And so for everyone that might be questionable to some people, like my mom's love of Michael Bolton and Kenny G, even though I think they've got some bops, there was a deeper musical influence with my dad where, he was into Warren Zevon. And obviously the song that you guys will all know is Werewolves in London, but he, Lawyers, Guns and Money. And I mean, so many amazing songs. I did a re-listen of Warren Zevon's catalog earlier this year and just great songwriting. And David Letterman inducted him, and David Letterman gave a great speech. I love David Letterman so much. But Warren Zevon was inducted under the Musical Influence banner, and I loved his clip package. They also did a In Memoriam, and Elton John sang God Only Knows to memorialize Brian Wilson, and I thought it was very beautiful. And Elton John told a story about meeting Brian Wilson in the 70s, and to him, Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys was just a god. I mean, Brian Wilson was a god to so many. Brian Wilson inspired the Beatles. I mean, the Beach Boys, there wouldn't be Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band without the Beach Boys. And I thought that was a beautiful moment. But overall, I just thought it was a very amazing night of musical television. So I enjoyed that. That's there streaming whenever you want it. I talk a little bit about this with Sophie, but I did watch Frankenstein, the new Guillermo del Toro film that is on Netflix right now with Jacob Elordi and Oscar Isaacs, and I think it was fantastic. There are a little couple complaints I had with like CGI, but overall, I thought I was going to watch 30 minutes of it and finish it up another day, and I ended up staying up for 2.5 hours on Friday night watching it. So I highly recommend that. I also recommend on Apple TV or Apple TV Plus, I watched the first 2 episodes of a new show called Pluribus, and it's created by Vince Gilligan, who also did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and it stars Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul. And it is so interesting. It has that Vince Gilligan storytelling that I think is so masterful, but it is a very different storyline than Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. And I don't want to give anything away, but it went in places that I didn't think it was going to go. I didn't know what I was necessarily walking into. And I have to say, I thought it was a phenomenal pilot episode. One of the best pilot episodes I've seen in a long time, maybe since Mad Men. I thought it was just so interesting. And a lot of people didn't ruin it for me, thank God, but I didn't know where it was headed. And I watched 2 episodes and I still don't know where it's headed. And I kind of love that. It reminded me, just that feeling reminded me of when I used to watch The Sopranos. And The Sopranos was always so excellent because it taught me about television that I would be like, oh, I bet they do this. That would make sense in terms of TV. And David Chase, the creator of The Sopranos, he would always go left when I would think you would go right because I was so used to normal network television where it was like, yeah, that makes sense. That character's going to do that. And Sopranos would always buck that and they'd go somewhere different. And I'd be like, oh man, that's not as satisfying as this normal bland thing that I've seen on television for 50 years. And then you realize as you sit with it, oh, that's so exciting. They didn't go in the direction that everybody else would have gone in. They created their own path. And that's how I felt with Pluribus. And I hope they can keep up this momentum I think they built in the first 2 episodes. So we'll get episode 3, I believe, on Friday, but I think that is well worth your time as well. It's a little weird. It's a little Severance. It's a little Night of the Living Dead. There's a couple weird influences, but I was enjoying the hell out of it. And you guys, make sure to sign up for our Substack because Maritza does a really good job. It gives you all the shows that we did that week. But we should also add a column of every show I mention on the What to Watch this week because I think I know that I do it in kind of a weird fashion where I go all over the here's Bravo, here's this, but it might help to visually see it as well at some point. So on Bravo, we'll start there. Tonight, Sunday night, we had a new episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, what I didn't get to watch yet, so I can't wait to see Stacey and what antics she's up to this week. And I hope I get to meet Stacey at BravoCon. That would be exciting. And then also we had the 4th and final episode of Wife Swap, the Real Housewives edition with Dr. Wendy. This was airing on Tuesdays, but remember Dr. Wendy, they postponed a week because of Dr. Wendy's legal issues. And now they put it out there on Sunday night. So, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, they made it on Sunday night. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but I want to watch it. I hope it's good. And Dr. Wendy will be appearing at BravoCon, and Karen Huger will be at BravoCon, you guys. How exciting is that? Tonight, Monday night, we have a new episode of Below Deck with Captain Sandy. It's starting to get good. I'm starting to enjoy it. We watch it every week still. It's like meditation. On Tuesday, we have our final episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Below Deck crossover. Remember, we will get to see another 3 episodes when Below Deck Down Under, but we'll see it from the crew's perspective. So we have a new episode of Salt Lake on Tuesday night, and then we have the premiere of Heather Gay's Surviving Mormonism. And this is a docuseries about people and, going through the Mormon church and certain issues that have arisen within the church. This is a 3-episode docuseries. The first episode will be on Bravo. The next day, you'll be able to see all 3 episodes on Peacock. And then Wednesday, nothing. And Thursday, we will have the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 2. Part 2 of the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion. So that is what we have over on Bravo. But then this weekend on Peacock, you're going to get a lot of Bravo from BravoCon. Okay, and here's some other things throughout the week. On Tuesday, we have the season 4 premiere of Selling the OC, the sister series to Netflix's Selling Sunset. We watched the first 3 episodes over the weekend of this new season, and I find it weirdly enjoyable to watch. But I will say, I talked about this with Sophie. Luke Goldbrinson from Summer House appears on this season as a recurring character on Selling the OC. Also, Sophie and I talk a lot about Kim Kardashian's All's Fair. We will have the new episode 4, on Tuesday at 8 p.m. That will be on Hulu. Let's see if All's Fair is able to keep up with the magic that it's shown us thus far in all 3 episodes that are released. And then, you know me, I'm a Dancing with the Stars fan. We have an all new episode of Dancing with the Stars. This will be a celebration of the 20th year of Dancing with the Stars. I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio. I waited till the 20th season to get into Dancing with the Stars. And then on Wednesday, we have a new episode of Apple TV's The Morning Show, episode 9. We have the finale of The Golden Bachelor. We'll get to see who Mel chooses. We have a new episode of Survivor, episode 8. We have a new episode of The Challenge on MTV, a new episode of Amazing Race on CBS, and a new episode of Shark Tank on ABC. On Thursday, we have the 4th episode, season 7, episode 4 of The Kardashians on Hulu. And here, guys, on Thursday, we have all 10 episodes premiering of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Season 3. I have enjoyed the hell out of the first 2 seasons of Secret Lives. And over the weekend, I finished the book Macy Neely, one of the Mormon wives. She released a memoir, and I thought it was really good. I thought this should be required reading for any girl going to college, and especially if you're a girl in the Mormon faith. I think you need to read this book. I thought it was very, very honest in a way that I was not expecting, brutally honest about her life. And I think that's the interesting thing about Secret Lives is that all of these women have dealt with immense trauma And yet there's still like these fluffy elements, and they're talking about brand deals, and they're doing little TikTok dances, and they say mom talk like 30 times every episode, where you're like, we get it. Will mom talk survive that? We get it. And now there's dad talk, which is completely ridiculous. Rebecca asked me if I wanted to be in dad talk when we have our child. I was like, no, I'm good with not being in dad talk. No. We have 9 episodes. We don't have the 10th episode, but we have 9 episodes, and we just finished episode 5, and I really like it. Marciano from Vanderpump Villa is a huge part of the first half of the season that I watched. And then Amy, our podcasting friend from Little Miss Recap, messaged me today and said that So Bad It's Good appears in episode 9 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I believe I know it's going to be the footage that I interviewed 4 of the women on their season 2 press run. And I knew that I signed papers giving permission for them to use the footage. But, I've been cut out of so many things when I was an actor. Like I've been written out of things. I've been fired from things. I mean, like, I don't really expect anything from anything. So it was really nice to hear Amy go, hey, you're in episode 9. I don't know what it is. We didn't rush. I told Rebecca, and I was like, we'll wait till we naturally get to episode 9. But that's exciting. I hope I don't look like a complete buffoon. What are the chances? What are the odds? Then we have episode 8 of Special Forces, World's Toughest Test on Fox. I watched this past week's episode because Cody Brown had an intense conversation with the instructors, the drill sergeants. He's like, I need to make up with my family. And I'm like, yeah, you do, you idiot. You're a complete dick to your flippin' family, your polygamous family. I mean, if you watch Six Sister Wives, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But he's all there like crying and stuff. I'm like, I don't care about your tears. Just treat your family right, man. Just treat your family right. And so that is up until Thursday, but we have a lot of other TV shows that I want to talk about. Okay, here's a smattering of everything else that is being released this week. In movie theaters this Friday, we have Glenn Powell in The Running Man, which is based on a Stephen King short story. And this was originally a 1986 movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is directed by Edgar Wright, who I think is a fantastic director. So I'm very excited for this. You also have the 3rd installment in the Now You See Me, the Magician franchise, with Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson. You also have a movie by Osgood Perkins called Keeper. Osgood Perkins is a really fantastic horror filmmaker. He most recently, he did that film, The Monkey, I believe it was called. And before that, he did that crazy movie, I'm blanking on the name, with Nicolas Cage in the really intense makeup. And somebody online said it looked like Vicky Gunvalson, which I was like, oh, that's shitty. I'm blanking on the name, but it was such a weird, good movie. Also, just remember, the Hollywood season is in full swing now, and we have so many Hallmark holiday films. But November 12th on Netflix, we have a holiday film called A Merry Little Xmas, but they spell it EX, and it's starring Alicia Silverstone and Oliver Hudson. So, I mean, holiday films, they're just good to have on during the holidays. On November 12th on Netflix, we have a documentary called Being Eddie about the life and times of Eddie Murphy. I'm really excited about this. I think Eddie Murphy is just so flippin' talented. I mean, this dude's body of work, if you think about Eddie Murphy, he's just so damn good. Also, this week on Max is going to be the new documentary, 1-to-1 documentary about John Lennon and Yoko Ono, which I'm excited about. I mean, I watch every Beatles documentary there is. For all you Joe Bro fans out there, on November 14th on Disney Plus, we have A Very Jonas Christmas Movie. Yeah, the Joe Bros are in full effect doing like sold out concert tour, and now they are doing a holiday film on Disney Plus. Now, today on Netflix, we have a new docuseries called Marines that takes us behind the scenes of Marines and the recruits and what their life is like. I think that should be very interesting. Now on Hulu today, we have premiering an original series called Caroline Flack, Search for the Truth. And Caroline Flack is one of the original Love Island, the UK version, one of the original hosts who unfortunately took her life. And so I'm very curious to see this docuseries. And that's why when we talk about toxicity in reality TV, you really have to look at these Love Island seasons, the beginning ones in the UK, and there was extreme toxicity. The cast was allowed to get shit canned wasted all the time. And there's been so many changes in the game. Now, I already mentioned this, I think, but on Thursday, we have the season 2 premiere of Palm Royale with Kristen Wiig and Ricky Martin. And I never saw the first season, but I have so many friends that love Palm Royale. So the second season is coming this week on Apple TV. Now, on Thursday on Netflix, we have the new series called The Beast in Me, and it's with Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. And Matthew Rhys is the fantastic actor from The Americans. And Claire Danes, this is from the creator of her amazing show Homeland. And I can't wait to watch this. These are both fantastic actors, so it's always worth watching what they're involved in. And then on Thursday, we have a new docuseries over on Peacock called Tiffany Haddish Goes Off, about Tiffany Haddish and her career and her friends. And so it'll be interesting to see what that's all about. So that is what I got for this week, but I'm probably missing so many things. So please tell me what I'm missing, what I should be watching, what we should be watching. We got to keep each other informed. I mean, the greatest gift you can give to people is to give them something to watch, read, to listen to. And I mean, yeah, that's what we're here to do, right? Anyways, right after this commercial break, our final one of this episode, we go into our pop culture roundup with Sophie Ross. Have a great start to your week, folks. Bye.